Rick Carver, a real estate broker being questioned by the police at a crime scene. He was the last person to see Mr. Caldwell, the man who had just taken his own life with a gun. Despite the seriousness of the situation, Rick remains unfazed, casually answering business calls while speaking to the officers.
Mr. Carver?
Yeah, I'll be with you in a second.
Shortly after being done on his phone, he explains that as soon as Mr. Caldwell saw him, he went inside his house and shot himself. While this might seem suspicious, it is not entirely unexpected. Rick works with banks to carry out home foreclosures, and Mr. Caldwell was one of the many homeowners about to lose his house. Rather than facing eviction, he made the tragic decision to end his life.
What official statement is going to encapsulate the tragic absurdity of this up situation?
Rick, however, shows no emotion while recounting what happened, making it clear that he is a cold and ruthless man. We then meet Dennis Nash, a hard-working construction worker and a single father who is struggling to make ends meet. He is drowning in financial problems and owes the bank around $80,000. His home is at risk of foreclosure and his family is on the verge of being evicted. Desperate to save his house, Dennis goes to court with his son Connor, hoping to negotiate with the bank's representatives. However, the judge only grants him a 30-day appeal period.
The bank can have a buyer in place within 30 days.
Did you in fact miss 3 payments?
Dennis pleads and nearly begs for more time, but his words fall on deaf ears. A police officer escorts him out of the courtroom, leaving him feeling frustrated and defeated. As he heads home, disappointment weighs heavily on him, but he does his best to reassure Connor, promising that they will not lose their home.
I'm not going to lose the home, Bill.
How do you know?
Despite his words, Dennis is extremely worried. That night, he frantically searches for a job that can provide enough money to support his family. He scours job listings, makes countless phone calls, and reaches out to everyone he knows, but nothing comes up. Each rejection only adds to his stress and desperation. At this point, Dennis is so broke, he'd probably take a side gig selling pictures of Spider-Man to J. Jonah Jameson. The next day, the situation takes a devastating turn.
Okay.
All right. Afternoon, boss.
A group of sheriffs accompanied by Rick Carver arrives at Dennis's home. They inform him that the bank has officially taken ownership of the property and he and his family must leave immediately. Dennis protests, reminding them that the judge granted him 30 days. However, Rick presents a signed court order that overrides the appeal, making it clear that they have no choice but to leave.
But the time has come. You have to leave the property.
He also reveals that the bank had initially offered them $3,500 as a cash-for-key settlement, which would have allowed them to leave voluntarily. Since they declined the offer, they now have no time to prepare. Dennis and his mother Lynn refuse to leave, leading to a tense confrontation with the police. The officers warn that if they do not cooperate, they will be arrested. Lynn, angry and distraught, insists that the officers are